pray that you can and will make a decision between now and Tuesday on who is going to receive your vote. Okay, but if you do nothing else, we want to make sure that you do exactly that. You get out and you vote. With no further ado, once again, good morning, good afternoon, and or good evening. Welcome to the GMAP Broadcast Network. I am Pastor Kevin, and I am alongside Dr. Harlene Ricks Shipley. Am I saying that right?
You're saying that
I'm
correct.
saying, I wanted to get it all in there.
And I wanted you to.
I know that's right. Get it all in there. Dr. Harlene Ricks Shipley. And of course, if you don't know, now you know she is also a candidate for our Waukegan School Board. Now, something that's very interesting about the school board, there's 4 spots available.
Right, 4 4-year terms. Mm-hmm.
4 4-year terms.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And there's at least 12 people running for that spot.
Right.
A variety of people. I'm excited to know that we have individuals like yourself on board. But before we even get into any intimate details about who you are, I want you to take a few minutes out to introduce yourself. I mean, tell the people who you are, tell the people where you're from. Give us a little bit of history on how it got up to this point, right? And that point being you running for the Waukegan School Board.
Okay, certainly. I was born and raised in Waukegan 59 years ago.
Okay.
This is a big year for many of us, that big 6-0, so we're looking forward to it as a group. My parents were actually born and raised here as well.
Oh, wow.
I attended all Waukegan schools. I graduated from Waukegan High School. I went off to college, Western Illinois University. I came back to teach in the area because that's so important to me. Mm-hmm. I've always wanted to give back. As a matter of fact, my 4th grade teacher told me that I said I wanted to be a teacher and I wanted to help those and I wanted to come back. And, okay, so that was 4th grade. Okay. So that's really the path that I've taken. Mm-hmm. I came back and I started teaching in elementary school. I taught at Lyon Elementary. I taught at Greenwood. And then I was fortunate enough to be at the high school for about 6 years and taught there.
Okay.
I was approached by the superintendent. By then I had gained my administrative certificate, my Type 75, and he asked me if I would be interested in being assistant principal. So I was for 6 months at Jefferson, and then I became the principal at Jack Benny for 6 years.
Wait a minute. You knew I was going to stop you right there, right?
Right.
I was going to stop because I was a 39er. So that's exciting to me to hear that
Kelly
somebody.
Green.
Yeah. My goodness. That's exciting to me when I hear that. I mean, this is exciting for me because sometimes you look at candidates that are running for particular positions, and one of the things you really have to pay attention to is, will their past experience leading up to this point make a difference on our school board?
Right.
You have been involved in the school system one way or the other for
since 1979.
I was a freshman in high school.
There you go.
Wow. I mean, but and to me that makes a huge difference. Now, I've had the likes of many people here who have made a decision to run for school board, and their vision, the vision that they carry, it stands out. It makes a difference. And I love to hear the vision of the people, and we'll get to that. But the experience that people carry makes a huge difference. Because when you look at a situation to where what it is that you can bring to the table to help our students, to help our children, you are one individual that could really break down and say, I've been there from the beginning. So you've been there watching it grow, watching it fall, the roller coaster ride, so to speak. So let me ask you this. In addition to the school system, what are some of the other expertise that you've experienced over the years? I mean, have you been in the, I guess you can say, in the corporate world? What kind of, you said you went to Western?
I went to Western.
My daughter went to Western.
Yeah, as an undergrad.
Wow.
No, I've always made sure my path stayed in education.
Really?
You know, whether I was, for example, I was a board member for the National Council on Educating Black Children for 4 years, but I've been to Capitol Hill and all of that. But it's always been about the issues of kids, community, what can we do to make it better for our own, our students, and our students are struggling. Right. So whether I was in central office, I'm a grandmother of a student in Waukegan. I have a grandson who's a 5th grader. Okay. So I'm invested in this. Yes. You know, this is my passion. This is what I've always done.
Oh my goodness!
This
you know
is who
what?
I am.
You just
on a good
said
day
it.
or a bad day.
You just said it. You know what? I was waiting.
Yeah. This is me.
I was
this
waiting.
is what I do.
Yeah. Well, you know, I was waiting for that key word.
Okay.
The word passion. You know, because regardless of what we do, if we don't have a passion for it, we're not going to give it our all.
Right.
You know, ladies and gentlemen, I am Pastor Kevin here on the GMAP Broadcast Network. I am here with Dr. Harlene Ricks Shipley, candidate for the Waukegan School Board. I'm excited because, you know what, you said some things already that really has given me a nudge to say, this is who I am, this is what I do, this is what I intend to do for many years to come. And, of course, you being one involved in the school system for such a long period of time. Let me ask you this. What are some of your plans, your vision, as you prepare to take one of those open vacancies on our school board?
Well, one of the things we have to do is we have to have some consistency in our district. Typically, whatever the new trend comes in, we jump at it, we buy it, we promote it, and that's just confusing to our students. We need to find something that they can relate to, something that is culturally responsive, and then we need to be good at that. We need to start working with our teachers. So we have 1,100 teachers, and 900 of them are Caucasian. Okay. Only 202 live in Waukegan. So that's something that we have to address. Yes. It's not just the fiscal responsibility of $1 million of revenue leaving every 2 weeks from our community. But it's also that it's one thing to come in and love your kids and embrace your kids and all that. But if you don't put that in your lesson plans, if you don't put what you have learned about your students, what is in their culture, their environment, their circumstance, that's why our academic achievement is so low, in my opinion. And the world is changing. So you have to change with it. It's not the same teaching when I taught. Okay, it's much different. So the students are the same. The students want to learn, and they're the same in their academic prowess or their want of it. Okay, so it's us who have to change. It's the adults who have to say, what can we do to make it better for these students? What can we do to increase academic achievement? And it's presenting lessons based on their knowledge base, their circumstances, and putting that into the lesson. And then, of course, you have to expand that. You want them to have a worldview. But when you're presenting new concepts, it has to be from something that's familiar. And that's something that we don't do in Waukegan. That's one thing I would like to see. I'd also like to see us expand programs for our middle schoolers. They get out at 2:15. Okay, that's a long time for them not to do anything. And expanding programs for middle schoolers and using high schoolers to come help, to come assist. Maybe give them credit for doing that. Okay, having us come together. It's working with the community and not just giving us the broad, help your kids tonight. Okay, and maybe it's all third grade parents knowing that they're to work on the multiplication tables all year. And see, that frees up time in the classroom where the teachers don't have to keep practicing on it. If you know every third grade parent has the sheet, they can talk with their neighbor, they can talk to whomever. See, some specifics, because our parents want to help. They really do. They've always been concerned. But you just can't say, read tonight. Okay, that's a little too broad, I think.
Right. Well, I love what, one of the things I'm going to share with you, is it okay if I call you Harlene?
Yes, go right ahead.
And one of the things that I want to openly share with you is I like the fact that you're being specific about some of the things that you want to implement. When you talk about having some of the high school come over or having some of the middle school go over and they connect, you're accomplishing a whole lot more than some people may even imagine, because the high schoolers they'll begin to adapt leadership.
Yes, they will.
And in that, I'm not running for any office. I just want you to know that. But they'll adapt leadership
Civic responsibility.
Exactly.
All of these things.
I
Yes.
love that. And then they will also be able to be involved
Right.
more
Right.
instead of having so much idle time on
Yes.
their hands. Because when you say, we're going to send you home, and after school, basically you're your parents' responsibility.
Right, right.
Well, in most homes, you got working parents, whether it's single or you have both parents. So when you get home, your parents may not even be
Right.
there.
Some working 2 and 3 jobs.
That time slot right
Right.
there is what's going to make or break a
Right.
student.
Right.
You know, you're 1 second away from making a bad decision. That bad decision can ruin the rest of your life.
sure
And if you
it
have
can.
too much idle time, you know, everybody, I mean, I know me back in the day, I mean, I'm old school.
Right.
And I wasn't trying to go home and dive right into the homework. So,
Sure.
I mean, that concept and those specifics make a huge difference in our school system, in our community.
Yes.
Now, when you think about the Waukegan School Board, this is your first time running.
Yes.
Your first time running to where you would have to be elected in.
Yes.
But you've been involved for a long time.
Yes.
I want to know, give me your take on what you feel are the responsibilities of a school board member.
Okay. Your first responsibility is to the student.
Okay.
That's what you're elected to do. You're elected by the parents to be the caretaker of their student. Okay? So every decision you make, whether it be transportation, nutrition, whether it be academics, has to be surrounded by that student.
Wow.
Okay? It has to support the student in the environment. That's what you're elected for. It's not to be friends with someone. It's not to make deals with someone. It's to say, okay, if I make this decision here as a board member, how will this positively affect the students that I serve? How will it negatively affect the students I serve? What is the percentage of students that it will affect? If it doesn't help everyone, do I need to do something for those who are left out? Do I need to do something different? If there are going to be any harms, how can I adjust that? Who do I need to enlist support to make this initiative successful? That's what you should be doing. But the focus should be on that student. Now, of course, it's different in elementary and middle school and high school. But you should not be making a decision that you're thinking, oh, this will make it easier for me as a board member. This will be something that I can run on the next time that the election. That shouldn't be where your focus is. It should be around the students that you serve, understanding that their parents put them in your hands to do the best for them academically. That's what I think bottom line.
That is awesome. I could stop talking to you right now, but I'm not. I mean, it's a one. You have a beautiful perspective over a general outlook over the complete package. And you know, I'm gonna rewind the tape a little bit.
Okay.
I'm gonna go back to when you were talking about teaching our students in the classroom.
Okay.
One of the things that really sticks out to me is every last student is different. They learn differently. They act differently. They present themselves differently.
Right.
Every student is different. So you really have to be transparent to adjust to the different types of students that you're serving, that you're teaching. And that was one of the things that really stuck out about you all, about what you said also. And another thing that I want to bring up is accountability. That word alone stands for a lot. And when you think about holding people accountable, what comes to mind?
Well, what comes to mind to me is if you were someplace else other than Waukegan, would it be acceptable? That's what you need to think about. If you were doing what you are in your classroom or in the office or in the gym or anywhere in the schoolhouse, if you were doing that somewhere else other than Waukegan, would it be acceptable to the community? Okay? Yeah. And oftentimes the answer is not really.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Okay, so right then, that's where you have to do some self-reflection.
Isn't that strange how that happens? It's strange how we will have more respect outside of our community than we will at home.
Right.
Or in our own school system.
Right.
We do things differently around people we don't know,
Right.
versus trying to be accountable around those that we do
At
know.
home, right.
That is amazing that you
Right.
even pointed that out.
Right.
You know, because I was telling somebody one day, I was working for GCI. I would go to Chicago. And we would go out and we would, present ourselves as radio personality. Well, I knew nobody in Chicago, but they would roll out the red carpet for us,
sure.
and they would honor, respect, and
Right.
appreciate us. I come back home, and people will look at me, that's just Kevin.
Right.
And that's the same scenario that we're looking at in our school system.
Right.
Now, does that apply also to our teachers?
Yes.
Everyone.
It applies to everyone in the schoolhouse. We all need to adjust if we expect to see better results
Yeah.
on our test scores.
Yeah.
Okay? You have to have an environment that's conducive to learning. And that starts when that kid is walking to school or getting on that bus. Okay, it can't just start on the days that we're taking tests.
Right.
It always amazes me how a building can be in turmoil, and whatever you want to say about turmoil. And then when it comes time to take the state assessment, you think that everybody's just going to sit down and it's just going to be smooth sailing and you're going to get these good results. No, it's that buildup. It's from the time that you come into preschool to the time that you're in first grade and second grade, and you sit down to that assessment and the state assessment in third grade, and it's continued to build on, that type of thing.
Right.
And it's the schoolhouse and the community working together with support from the board, and you have the superintendent under your direction. It's the whole pie. Okay?
Wow.
Because we know that students can get thrown off the mark if they don't get their lunch, if they don't, if they have to walk to school because the bus passes them by. All of it has to come together.
Yeah.
We're all players. We're all stakeholders.
Right.
And we need to do what's successful to get the results that we want.
Okay. Wow. I mean, that's good. I mean, you have taken me by storm just by your analogy of certain situations and the way you see things, the way you plan to implement things specifically. And that's a powerful place to be, because you have a concrete direction in the way you want to go. And that's huge. And people need to understand that. They need to be receptive to that. Don't go into this looking at it as if it's something that's going to make your job easier. As a matter of fact, you should look at it as if it's something that's going to make your job a little bit more difficult, harder.
Right.
Because
because there are adjustments there.
Right.
Definitely.
Right. Don't go into this thinking that you're going to just religiously go to school or go to work every day and just, bypass the important parts of making the right decisions for the right reasons with the right people. That's huge. So, again, I am Pastor Kevin here on the GMAP Broadcast Network, having a nice conversation with Dr. Harlene Ricks Shipley. We are not. I ain't gonna go there. What?
I ain't gonna go there. I got this.
I ain't gonna go there. I just want you to say hi to Pookie. Ern. That's all I want you to do, and then I'm gonna be done with it. I ain't gonna say nothing else about him. I promise.
Hi, Ernest Vaughn. Thanks for having me come today to meet Pastor Kevin.
I got a lot.
I called you by your kindergarten nickname. I am so sorry. I am so sorry.
He ain't gonna let me sing again. My goodness, ladies and gentlemen, we are here once again. Harlene, Dr. Harlene Ricks Shipley, candidate for the Waukegan School Board. I love it. Don't forget, go out and vote on April 4th. As a matter of fact, you can early vote as we speak. If there has been something up to this point that you have seen and or heard that has encouraged you to go out and cast your vote today for Dr. Harlene Ricks Shipley, I encourage you to do so. It's so important. We fought for the right to vote.
Yes.
And then we are the main ones that complain when we don't vote and something does not go our way. We have the opportunity today to go out and cast our vote. If I don't do anything else, I may not vote for the person that they want me to vote for, but I'm going to go vote.
Right.
And that's huge. We encourage you to do so. Harlene, I know for a fact that you have a huge vision
Thank you.
Outside of what you're currently involved with, and that's getting past this election
Yes.
and going into the, other things, I want to talk a little bit about activities for our children. Now, we've went over the system in general.
Right.
We've went over some necessities for our children, and I'm gonna tell you that you're the first one that I ever heard say it, but to give our high school kids the opportunity to elevate their leadership is amazing to me.
And necessary.
It's necessary. It's necessary. I mean, that just touched my heart because it keeps them so involved. And one thing that I've learned over the years, when we can train people or teach people or, work with people, we feel more special. If I'm training or teaching or working with someone that's coming up behind me,
Yes.
you feel special about that. I don't know about everybody else, but it would make me feel proud. I would be proud.
Right.
I'm helping that person. Look how they're growing. Look at what people think about you. And some of those that came before you.
For sure.
They're looking at it the same way. But what are some of the activities that you think would be necessary for our children to involve themselves in for fun after they've done their work? They can wind down a little bit because you know what? This process is a year-round process.
Yes, it is.
It's not just a school year thing. So what are some of the activities that you think would be necessary to implement for our children?
What I would really like to see a strong intergovernmental agreement with the Park District when it comes to access to the pool, access to the parks, access to the facilities. Okay, and not, it's okay to do basketball, it's okay to do that kind of stuff, okay. But you have to realize that today's child wants to experience a lot. So it's okay to let them experience, whether it's a skateboarding, whether it's taking them for actual outings and all that. But it has to be something that is affordable, for their circumstances. Some way that, once again, you can bring older kids in to help and assist. You can bring those kids in. I actually mentioned to some of the Park District officials when they had the girls basketball tournament over at the field house. They had people from out in other communities who were coming and were helping to bring the water in and the Gatorade or whatever it is and sweeping the floor. And I said, why isn't this our students who are doing this? And why can't they come and assist? And why can't? And they said, oh, well, because it would be, how would we pay them or what would their employment be? Okay, but that's something you should work out. If you have to sit and discuss a few extra hours to figure out how it would benefit our students to come and participate in these activities. And you're saying that sometimes activities aren't necessily me playing.
Right.
It's me being a participant,
being a part of it,
being a part of my community. If I'm not athletic, maybe I don't mind coming to be the scorekeeper. Maybe I don't mind being the one to push the broom. Maybe I don't mind being the one to hand out the towels. Okay, but this is all participation in sports or around or activities and circumstances, and we need more of that. Okay, we need more of our kids in middle school to experience a little bit of everything. So when they get to high school, they can decide, I want to be in band or I want to be in chorus. No, I really don't want to do track. If you don't give them a chance to experience that, how are they going to make that decision? What they'll do is that they'll just stay with what they're comfortable in. They'll just stay in their zone, and they'll miss out on some of those opportunities that are at the high school, but they've never had a taste of it or an explanation or a look at or whatever you want to call it, that type of thing. So sometimes the activities aren't just necessarily participating, but it's being around. It's gaining the knowledge of. Yes. That's big with kids.
Well, let me applaud you.
Okay.
I'm going to applaud you in a big way, sincerely. You didn't make it about basketball.
Oh no.
You didn't. You didn't even make it about sports.
Right.
Sometimes we have a tendency to incorporate in our children's mind that their athletic abilities is what's going to take them out of the ghetto or out of a bad situation. Wow. I mean, the variety that you've mentioned today that's a necessity. I played high school football, baseball, track and all that good stuff, and I was good at it. I ended up playing football with Jerry Rice in college at Mississippi Valley State. and I ended up breaking not one but both of my ankles.
Oh, wow.
You know, career over.
Right.
What do you do now?
Right.
And I had so many high expectations of my athletic career.
Right.
I watched one of my sons grow up, and he was so determined to be a part of the athletic clique. Mm-hmm. And one day he banged up his knee. Mm-hmm. Couldn't play for a little while. Right. Where do you go from there? I am so grateful to hear you say, give our children variety. Right. Give them options. Mm-hmm. And that is, I mean, you have hit some points today that could just keep the average person running quiet.
Okay.
They could just, they could learn a lot from just talking to you. Right. I enjoy speaking to a lot of individuals about their vision, about their dreams, about their passion. But to hear some sincere care for our children is huge, because now you're letting me know that you're not planning to just get up to a point to where you're just a part of the school board. Mm-hmm. And you can religiously go to work every day and not do a darn thing.
For sure.
But you have a plan. Mm-hmm. You have a vision. You have direction. And you have passion. Right. That's more than any average person that I've had the chance to speak to up to this very moment.
Well, thank you.
And that is huge. I really, really, really appreciate you focusing on the variety. I mean, the variety of giving our children the opportunity to be leaders as well as followers. Right. In order to be a good leader, you got to be a good follower. Right. And then the variety that you've mentioned as far as the activities, technology, all of it. all of it is one big package. Mm-hmm. Wow. Now, if someone wanted to reach out to you, Harlene, how would they go about it? Do you have social media, website, phone number, email? Why don't you share that information with us?
Well, I'm on Facebook.
Okay.
And I say that because my former students finally said, Dr. Shipley, okay, get on Facebook.
Right.
It's one thing that they can stop by my house or they can call me or whatever. Yeah. They said, okay. And I'm a big person in wanting to talk to you and understand where you're coming from and see in your eyes. And I take pride in the fact that 2 of my former students are running for the board. So,
that is amazing.
And I'm glad that, and they talk about my influence. I don't remember all of the circumstances they talk about, but I'm glad that I was, part of their history and thinking that they can move forward and that they could be leaders and whatever. I say that because I can see them and I can say, oh, you look a little tired or you look or whatever. Don't, just hang in there. Mm-hmm. The April 4th will be here sooner than you think, that type of thing. So, so I'm on Facebook and that's, and then I'm around.
Right, right. Okay. Fair enough. Now, one of the things that I must say is when you look at how long you've been around the Waukegan area, your age, it seems to me that for a person at your level, your age, you are able to still relate completely.
Oh, for sure.
To the youth, to the students. I'm talking about way down, middle school. I mean, back then I don't even know if it was called middle school. I don't know.
I think it was junior high.
Yeah.
I think
we had grade school, junior high, back and high school. I don't know about no middle school, but it seems like you can relate to the children, and that's another accomplishment. That's another asset. Because in order for a child to really open up to you, they have to feel as though you can relate to them. Mm-hmm. If they're looking at you as if you're, he's too old school. Right. You old. When the kids get to, hey, old man, or when they get to telling you that, you have to make some adjustments. Right. And to me, now I'm up there with you. Mm-hmm. And I like to relate to the youth. I like to go out there and try to play basketball to see where they are. I'm running up and down the court a few weeks ago trying to tell a young man what he should be doing, and he's playing against me. Okay. For sure. You're a big dude. Mm-hmm. You should go down there and post up. I'm actually trying to help him. Right. And I'll tell him the truth. Don't cross me over because I ain't following you. Okay, I'm letting you on your own. I'm gonna let you. For sure. My point is they laughed about it because they felt as though I was somebody that they can relate to. For sure. And
For sure.
that's the type of person you are.
Oh, thank you.
That is a huge asset. In addition to everything else that you have mentioned today, your vision is clear.
And I want the same feeling for all the kids. See, I'm not going to settle for it. When people say, well, the kids are hard today, so and so, you have to be able to relate to them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so if I can still model that at 59 and a half, I think that you coming into the classroom for your first time, your second time, your 15th year, you should be able to do it.
That's right.
I was in an 8th grade classroom last year talking about a civic responsibility and how it changes from raking leaves to you being a juror, and yada, yada, yada. And I was relating to the kids.
Wow.
And I can do it, but that's because if I'm going to be in education, if I'm going to make a difference, if I'm going to be effective, I have to constantly revamp myself.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Otherwise, I become outdated.
That's
okay?
right. That's
so
right.
I did not teach that class last week, or present in that class, I should say, the same way I did 25 years ago. Because those kids would have pulled out their phones and they would have been, fact checking me while I was talking. Okay, but that wasn't the case.
Right.
So I want that for all the students. I want someone who's in the classroom in front of them, who is engaged, who understands them, who's willing to get to know them, their circumstances, their environment, their community. You don't have to live here to do that.
That's
but
right.
it still has to be something that is on your plate, and you recognizing that that's something that you need to do.
Right. Well, some things I purposely chose not to get into on today because I believe that's something that should be addressed as a group when it comes to the school board in general, more specifically. But to hear your views, to encourage others, to reach out to you if they want to get more personable. One of the things that I might have talked about is, I guess you can say, the responsibility of the school board making a decision on whether or not the teachers in our schools should be from this area. If members of the school board need to live in Waukegan. I think that's a mandatory scenario. I think that's something that has to be. But when you think about the teachers, I'm going to bring this teacher from Chicago. I'm going to bring this teacher from here, there, and the other. Is that something that we should have even worry about, even focus on? I'm a strong believer that we need to try and get the best possible teacher in that particular area in our school system to teach our children. But some people will beg to differ. So that's, I just chose not to talk about certain things. I think they should be discussed amongst school board members prior to bringing it out into the eyes and the ears of the people in the community. So again, I thank God for you. I thank you for coming in today. My goodness, it has been a great opportunity to hear.
Well, thank you.
to meet you, to know that we have a mutual friend. I'm just going to leave it at that.
And I never looked at this machine once.
That's good stuff. I know. I was checking you out. So,
looked at it once.
Harlene, before I let you go, I want you to do me one more thing.
Okay.
I want you to look right in that camera.
Okay.
I want you to introduce yourself once again. And as we prepare for the upcoming April 4th election, I want you to share with all of our viewers and listeners why they should, number one, get out and vote. More importantly, number two, why they should get out and vote for you.
Okay. My name is Dr. Harlene Shipley, and I'm asking everyone to get out and either early vote or vote on April 4th. It's one of the most important things that you can do in life. It's not going to just change your life and your circumstances, but it's going to change our whole community and for all of those around us. I would hope that you consider voting for me and supporting me, because I really want to help take the district to another level. I'm really focused on the academic achievement of our students, and having been a graduate of Waukegan myself and gone through the schools, I know it's possible to do great things and to have a great education. I just think that we have lost our way when it comes to some of our district initiatives, and I would hope that you would give me a chance to go in, to use my expertise, my experience, to help make a difference for our students. And thank you so much for tuning in.